Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and please thumbs up my videos. They're currently looking at Lion Geyser. Up over here on the right, that would be Ear Spring. Supposedly, the southern loop of Yellowstone, they're going to open at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, June 22nd. And it may be odd and even license plates. Yeah, where have I heard that before? Talk of gas rationing and traveling sometime in the future. There it goes. Yeah, Lion. They want to do odd and even traveling to different cities. That's according to the One World Government Green Initiative, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it went off, I believe about 9 hours ago, too. It was raining last night and raining early this morning there at Yellowstone. They've been giving private tours since the park's been closed to employees only. And then there was a youth civic group that they gave a private tour to yesterday, I believe it was. So, yeah, giving the employees a chance to go through the park, get briefed on things they probably didn't know, don't have a chance. The employees in the northern loop are being transferred to the southern loop. As you know, across the country, there's been a shortage of employees. So this should help, with employment and manning the concession stands, the hotels, and different things. I had heard some people had quit, so I don't know if they're still going to have a shortage. You think about travel time from the people that lived up there by Gardner that had that devastating flooding. It might be a long commute for them to go to Gardner to Yellowstone. There is an alternative route, but I believe that's a 200-mile trip. But then they probably will be housing a lot of these people during this season, so they won't have to travel. But then you think about the ones that have family and children and, the long trip to go home on their days off. Are there 2 days in a row? Is it just one day here and then a couple days later another day off? Yeah, you just don't know. And how that's going to affect people. All the food and supplies have been ferried from Gardner in the past to Yellowstone. That was their staging area there in Gardner. So I don't know what plans they made, which direction, which location they're going to bring the supplies in. But right now they're talking that it'll be open Wednesday, June 22nd, 8 a.m. Now, USGS is only reporting one earthquake so far. That's for today, a magnitude 1.5, but there's been a lot of them, probably in the same location here. Nothing reported over the weekend. This is their first earthquake report, but they've been ongoing. Now, interestingly, this earthquake right here, the 1.5, which is about 4.8 miles below sea level. All earthquakes are measured from sea level. And this would be in the upper magma chamber where this earthquake occurred. And yeah, they fudged about the size of the earthquake. This monitor here is from Moose Creek, Idaho. I'll bring it down so those of you that are watching maybe on your tablets or TV, you can see it was actually a magnitude 2.23. And there was several others. But of course, they don't report them all. Yeah, we got one right here at 10:08. You can see it's got rounded tops. that is a volcanic tremor, meaning the magma is on the move. That one comes in as a magnitude 2.5. It might be a little bit larger. But I want to go back to this one right here. Right there. Using Google Earth, here's the location of that 1.5. I believe that the earthquakes that from the 3 different monitors I downloaded are probably in the same area. Alright, and this is within the area of the uplift where the ground is rising. The red line, yeah, I keep forgetting to make that different. That's supposedly the area of the magma chamber. But this is along close to where when they had their last major eruption, it blew out the mountains. Yeah, the Tetons. Let's see. You can see here where they were all blown out. And this is the location of the 1.5. So more likely we got uplift going on. And as you know, we got, yeah, sorry for all the little notes here. Magma comes in from the area of Gulf of California. It is under the ground and slowly makes its way up to the Yellowstone hotspot. Yeah. This is, I believe, in fact, the largest caldera in the world. Let me zoom out. Okay. So you can see the United States. And can you see? Let me bring it out a little bit more. The size of the United States and the size of the caldera. So yes, if this does have another super eruption, it would change life here on Earth. It would change the climate here on Earth because it is huge. I believe it's 35 miles wide by about 55 miles long. The caldera, that's just that center red area. The ground rising up is about 261 miles across, and that's how much the ground has risen. And then, of course, we got 2 resurgent domes. Most volcanoes only have 1 resurgent dome. This has got 2. We got the Mallard Lake resurgent dome, and we got the Sour Creek resurgent dome. So I downloaded 3 different monitors. This here is Moose Creek, Idaho, Parker Peak, and Holmes Hill. And we have an earthquake here at 6:20 that they are not reporting. There's a spectrogram for all 3. And that comes in as a magnitude 3.13. Yeah, definitely larger than a 2. The one at 10:08, that shows up on all 3 monitors. We got another one right here. 10:21. Let's bring this over. And right there. All 3 monitors, again, not being reported. This is what the data was showing for Holmes Hill when I pulled the files. This comes in as a magnitude 1.08. And we'll bring it down so you can see it. MD 1.08. We'll do the spectrogram and I'll bring that up. It's a small one. Now this would be associated with the Madison River area. Okay, that one 846. Magnitude 1.42. 643. 1.16. 620. 2.49. And here you can see we were still having tectonic, the movement of the plates, earthquakes. I'm just kind of jumping around. Yeah, tectonic. Oh, there's one right there at 2014. That would have been yesterday. That would be a little tiny microquake, a 0.58. And we'll go to the signature right there. You can look at all 3 monitors and you can match them all up. Yeah, and this is the first one for the weekend. What inspired them to report one lonely earthquake when there's been multiple of them? And we got another one that just came in. This is Moose Creek, Idaho at the top. I did not download that data because it just came in. And yeah, it's like a little blip here for Holmes Hill. And it also shows up here at the bottom for Pitchtone Plateau. Let's extract that. And I can't get the size of it, but it does show, yeah, the signature of the earthquake, and that one just happened. They were worried about the snow melting because they got a lot of snow in the higher elevations. Could still happen. Here it's currently 45 degrees. Looks like the high would be Thursday of 69 degrees. Wednesday, when they're going to open, 65 will be their high. Here's the current view from the Mount Washburn fire lookout. Yeah, just a day or so ago, this was all covered in snow. Here we have Mount Washburn's southern view. And this was as 9:40 a.m. Their time, Sunday, July 19th. And an image, this is from yesterday. They don't have a view of a Yellowstone lake today. This is a camera over there between Grant and the fishing bridge, I believe. And I believe that's Frank Island. This camera is delayed by at least 14 seconds. I know that. Maybe a little bit longer because of when Josh was there. The geyser had erupted and finished erupting before the camera even zoomed in to Old Faithful. But that's all I have for you right now. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions, yeah, put it down below. So the southern loop is supposed to be open Wednesday. Originally they said it was going to be open tomorrow, but they've delayed that for whatever reason. And we'll see if they open Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, put those questions down there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support. And as always be prepared for a disaster. You just don't know. It could be a fire. It could be flooding. It could be a multiple of things. Yeah, volcanic eruption, earthquakes. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.